Hi, welcome. Come on in. Good to see you. It's a pleasure to have you. Come on in. Welcome to my humble abode.
It's a pleasure to be here in the home of Ray Gordon.
It's a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure for you to come here and think about, interviewing me for your project, Sea to Shiny Sea. I've heard a lot about it, and I'm glad to be part of this wonderful project that you're about to take. Make your visions come true.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've heard so much about you, Ray Gordon, and what you're doing and creating with the world. I understand you are a musician, singer, music director, composer, writer, lyricist, and lover of life and God. So it's also a pleasure for me to be here with you.
Thank you.
Tell me more about what your life is like in the arts.
Well, I got my early start at the age of 6 living in Mississippi. And my first lesson was piano lesson. And my grandmother took me to my first piano lesson by this. I had my piano teacher was named Miss Kelly, this old Southern heavy-set woman who greeted you at the door with these huge shoes on and waddled to the piano and taught me the basics. That's how I began playing the piano from the age of 6 in Mississippi. And then, as I grew, I was in the church, involved in the church, and that's how my talent really developed in the church. And eventually I moved to Milwaukee where my mother, was living, and I started at my basic foundation there, living in Milwaukee, going to the University of Wisconsin, going to Wisconsin Lutheran High School, getting my start in music and getting my education there. And, playing in the church, and once you get into a church that's really active, you start to develop your musical skills.
Wow, fantastic. So from the childhood up to your teen years, and then also when you became a young man, you were involved in music and the creation of music and gospel music and being influenced by the beauty of love and art. It's phenomenal. Would you say, for example, you have a certain specialty, playing the organ or piano?
Well, I started playing the piano, and then as I got involved in church, I was motivated and inspired to go to the organ, the Hammond B3 organ. And I started playing for this Pentecostal church, you call it Church of God in Christ, and that's where my skills really started to develop. I started directing the choir at the age of 15, and they started paying me a little stipend, like a love offering. And eventually time grew on, and I graduated from high school, went to university. I was inspired to move to New York City, where I wanted to pursue my musical endeavors. And I, was involved in the theater here. I was taking musical theater at Herbert Berkoff Studios. And then I was involved with the church here, and that's where I began to meet different people in the arts. I was fortunate to meet Professor Joe Williams, who introduced me to a lot of people in the theater. Arthur, the late cantor, Alexander Arthur, and he taught me so many things about voice and what I need to do vocally, and I became involved in the theater. People asked me to write music for all of our shows, and that's how I started, taking the challenge and pursuing it and making causes and seeing the effect of whatever, was challenged to me, and thank God that I could do it. Thank God that I could do it. And that's how you grow, and you meet different people, and it's amazing how life is a circle, and it goes round and round, and the people you're supposed to meet, God puts in your life, and it makes it complete, and you see your vision coming into fold.
Wow.
Every day.
Every day.
You take one day at a step. one day, as they say, one day at a time.
That's so. That's
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
That's so. I hear you praising, which is wonderful to hear, praising of God. So God has served to be a great inspiration for you, your leader, and so that's wonderful to hear. You're also serving, for example, presently as a musical director in particular churches around.
Well, right now I'm what you call the minister of music for Shallow Baptist Church in New Rochelle. I work with the McDonald's, New York Metro Choir for Gospel Fest for the last 10 years, and I'm presently serving as artistic director for Lavender Light Gospel Choir, and then I teach pre-K every day. I'm involved with my little 4-year-olds and teaching them the basic music, exercise, rhythm, dancing, and singing. So it's all joy. It's all joy. I love what I do.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. So again, with the young children, you have pre-K all the way up to senior citizens and beyond, that you're influencing with the love that you have for music and the love of life that is there for you. Would you like to mention a miracle that has happened in your life that you would like to share with our viewers? A miracle.
Well, I think the greatest miracle is using your talent and going out, because when God gives us talents, He always makes rooms for our talent. God has blessed me to work with so many famous artists, and I remember I was at NJ and I was playing for Melba Moore, and she was singing Precious Lord, and before she went on stage, she took me in the side room and she says, I want this to be a special thing with me and you, Ray. And she says, you know, you tell me where to hold the note, because you know Mabel loves to hold notes, and so, you know, Precious Lord is, Precious Lord, take my hand, and when she got to the part, when my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near, when my life is almost gone, and I told her to hold the note on Hear My Cry, and when she held that note on Hear My Cry, they had to close the curtain, because she held that note and people just went into a frenzy. I'm telling you, it was like an angel was sitting next to me at the piano. And it was the most amazing experience that I've ever had on stage with anybody that that sang like that, and the presence. There was a spirit there that is undescribable. It felt like an angel was sitting next to me on the piano as my hands began to glide up and down those keys and Mabel sang that note. And the people rejoiced and praising God, and they had to really take a minute, because the people were just so upset and going wild. And you know, music has the power to just uplift, heal, and that's why I always say music is the international language that reaches all across the entire universe.
Phenomenal.
I think when God speaks, He speaks through music.
Yes.
You know, He speaks through music through people.
Yes.
Because music makes the bridges.
Yes.
You know, it reaches out a hand and it brings people in. It embraces. It heals.
Yes.
It uplifts. It brings joy, peace. And what other way than international language that makes the world go round and round is music, because it's all about love. All about love.
Yes. You're all about love. And so I would like to say thank you again for inviting us into your beautiful life and into your beautiful home. On behalf of Sea to Shining Sea, we'd like to thank Mr. Ray Gordon, child of God, angel, genius, and wonderful human being. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.